War Eagle, everyone. I hope you've all had a great start to football season. I hope you're enjoying the fall weather that's slowly creeping into campus, and I hope you're ready for fall break next week. As you may know, this is the monthly SGA show. It's a program where SGA is in partnership with Eagle Eye TV to provide real-time updates on what exactly it is that SGA does for our students. As a part of the show, you're going to hear an update from each of our 6 executive officers, as well as a moderated discussion about on-campus developments with notable Auburn figures. This week's guest is Dr. Bobby Woodard, the Senior Vice President for Student Affairs, so I look forward to y'all hearing that. This month, a big process that will be undertaken by the entire Auburn community kicked off. That process is the Auburn University presidential search. The purpose of this search is to find the 21st president of Auburn University. Most recently, the advisory committee for this search held listening sessions with each of the constituency groups that make up Auburn University. I personally wanted to take a moment to thank all the students who spoke up last Thursday, September 23rd, at the listening session designed for students. It was an incredible turnout, and our robust involvement is going to serve as evidence in the future that Auburn students desire to have a voice in the operation of this university. Further, the past month has seen students joining together and speaking up in an effort to call attention to the issue of sexual assault on our campus. The SGA executive team and I have been listening and are in constant communication with offices on campus to see how we can address this problem and improve safety for all students. Lastly, I wanted to thank everyone who got involved with the Miss Homecoming campaigns and elections last week. Whether it was candidates or people on campaigns or people who voted, I really appreciate y'all's effort there, and it was great to see 5 Auburn women develop platforms that they were passionate about and work so diligently to further those platforms during the week. Congratulations to Lady Francis. I know you're going to represent Auburn so well in this role, and I'm excited to see you get started. Thanks everyone for tuning in. I hope this fall continues to serve everyone well, and I look forward to working for students more. Until next time, War Eagle.
Hey you guys, it's good to see everyone again. My name is Cole Callahan and I'll be serving as the Vice President for the Student Government Association for the 2020 through 2021 term. So I know last week I got to tell you guys a little bit about myself and what I do in this role and a little bit about the legislative branch as well. But today I want to take a second to talk about how you can get involved in SGA through the legislative branch. So when the spring rolls around, there's going to be the election season. The elections are, of course, going to be composed of the major candidates. So that's the vice president, the treasurer, and the president of the Student Government Association. But then, of course, there are the minor candidates, most of which who fall under my legislative branch. So those are going to be the schools council and the Senate. So every year, you're going to have the ability, like any student who's enrolled in any college and meets the qualifications of GPA as well as our enrollment, you'll be able to run for those positions. So like I said before, each college can elect a president and a vice president, and those will serve in the schools council. And then every college also has the ability to elect senators. And those senators are going to be apportioned based on the enrollment size of that college. And so what's really cool is that each and every single one of you has the ability to run for those positions. So when this fall happens, eventually if you go on our AU Involve page, you'll find that there is a declaration of intent form under the Student Government Association's page on AU Involve. If you go to that declaration of intent, you will have the ability to enroll yourself in the election process for either a schools council position or a Senate position. You can't do either, but you can do one or the other. And so what's really interesting is that you have the ability to run and your name will be presented on that ballot in the spring when the election season happens. Now, as far as tickets go, I think that can be a conversation for next week, but the basic knowledge is that you have the ability to declare your intent through a form on AU Involve, and that will allow you to run for schools council or for Senate. So, then I want to talk about more what Senate does. I know last week I mentioned that we passed 3 types of legislation, that being bills, resolutions, and commendations. And today I just want to give you guys a bit of an example of what each of those looks like. So commendations. Commendations are going to be when the Student Senate says, we as a unified body think that the student body would wish to commend this entity. So this fall, we decided to commend the efforts of Auburn Olympians in light of the events of the 2021 Tokyo Olympics, I guess I should say 2020 Tokyo Olympics, where Sunisa Lee scored gold in all-around gymnastics, which was pretty awesome. And so we took the time to commend not just her, but many other Auburn Olympians. And so that commendation is hopefully going to be presented at a football game sometime this fall. Not only that, we have resolutions. Resolutions is when we, as the Student Senate, say that we believe the unified student voice is requesting or asking for this certain thing. And so this past spring, right before summer happened, we passed a resolution in the Senate titled Consistency and Accountability for Fall 2021, where we asked that administrators and faculty determine that in-person modality be the standard for academic instruction for fall 2021. And what's pretty cool is a few days after we passed that resolution, the university ended up saying that in-person modality would be the standard for 2021. And then finally, we have bills. Bills are anything that can change the Constitution or the Code of Laws, both of which actually govern a lot of what we do here and you guys do as students. Academic honesty, as well as gaming and ticketing policies, all the way to how elections work are all things determined by the Code of Laws and the Constitution. So, for example, a really cool bill that I think was passed was when we changed the election week to no longer go from Wednesday to Tuesday, but from now go to Monday to Friday. So the way that elections previously worked is that they would go through the weekend and it would encompass the weekend. And we felt that that wasn't the best way for both students and candidates. And so from now on, elections will begin on Monday and end on Friday. So that's just an example of a bill that I thought I would give. And so if you have any questions about how to get involved or about more of what we do in the Senate, please feel free to contact me. The information can be found on Auburn's AU Involved page for Student Government Association, and you can, of course, contact any of the other executive members as well. Thank you, and War Eagle.
Hey guys, biggest news for me is that we finally have our freshman foreign team. And so this will be about 50 freshmen that come in and just develop their leadership skills. They'll have mentorship programs with other people, older people within SGA. And so they'll be being able to see what each branch looks like and seeing if they would want to go further in SGA, and if not, just develop their leadership abilities so they can lead in other ways on campus. We still have our first-time opportunities, still open, like shaker distribution on Fridays at 3 o'clock. So I hope to see you in the stadium and get ready to put all our shakers out for the game. We're also working towards a couple of our executive goals, including Green Dot training, HBCU partnerships, and different things like that. So I hope that you guys will stay tuned in and join us and let us know of any feedback. We're open to it all. Have a War Eagle day. Thank you.
War Eagle, y'all. My name is Michael Thomas, and once again, I serve as the Executive Vice President of Initiatives. There's 3 things I'd love to share with y'all today, and first regards athletics. So with our team, we've been working throughout the OSP or block seating program, which is where we allow organizations to have designated rows within the student section. We open this up each year to all organizations registered throughout the university, where you're given priority based off your GPA. So we encourage all organizations to apply, and if you don't get in the first round, there's a wait list, and usually you'll make your way up on the list and you'll be having seats by the end of the year. And so the second thing I wanted to share about is the new Culinary Center. So I'm sure we've all seen a lot of different construction going on across from Sanford Hall, but something that's going in there is the Heyday Market, which is named after an old, long-standing SGA tradition that's actually coming up this October. And so SGA and Initiative specifically is going to be able to have influence on what goes into that Heyday Market and how we're influencing it in a student manner. Lastly, there's something that we have called Safety Walk. This is a semester-based program where each semester we walk with police officers and staff and administration throughout the university, checking all the blue lights for safety measures. It's something that we are working on doing this go-around, is assessing other areas of campus that may not be covered by the blue lights, so that we can check all areas that students are crossing and walking around to further create safety and promote campus safety throughout all the student life.
War Eagle guys, my name is Steven Sadie. I'm currently serving as the SGA Treasurer this year. The last month or so we've had really exciting things going on, and really excited to see where the next couple of weeks takes us as well. In financial projects, we're working right now to meet students on the campus and online with different resources such as teaching students how to write a check, how to budget their current budgets on campus and any student debt that they might have, and various other things that will prepare them for post-college and graduation. In our ring ceremony and in our ring projects, we're currently working right now. We had this past week ring sales, sold several different rings to Auburn students and alumni as well. Really excited to see that ceremony that's coming up December 2nd. But we're also working right now on an event that connects both students and students of the past that all have rings together all at once, and really excited to see where that program takes us. But as always, War Eagle, and hope you all are staying safe.
Hey y'all, my name is Molly Boudreau, and I'm currently serving as the Executive Vice President of Outreach for Auburn's Student Government Association. This month in Outreach, we have some really exciting things coming up. On October 13th, we have Hay Day. Hay Day is the one day of the year we get the whole campus involved. You get a name tag, it has your name, you say hey to everyone, and it's just an awesome tradition that we're excited to keep going this year. Volunteer registration is currently open, and we hope to see y'all out on the concourse on October 13th. Then we also have a voter registration drive coming up on October 5th. A lot of students don't know that you can actually register to vote in the state where you go to college. So if you're an out-of-state student, you can still register to vote in the state of Alabama. And we actually have a mayoral election coming up next fall. So if you'll be here next year, it might be a great time for you to get registered to vote. And then besides that, we have Auburn Answers as always. The link for that's going to be aub.ie/Auburn Answers. Make sure to submit any kind of questions, concerns, feedback, and we'll be sure to respond back to you. I hope y'all are having a great month so far, a great football season, and I hope to see y'all out on the concourse.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to our discussion segment of Monthly Review with SGA. This month, Rhett and I are joined by Dr. Bobby Woodard, the Senior Vice President of Student Affairs. Dr. Woodard, thank you for sitting down with us.
I appreciate you gentlemen having me today.
So Student Affairs includes a lot of different departments, including campus dining, Greek life, health promotion and wellness, housing. What all does your job as the Senior Vice President entail?
Yeah, my job, it's kind of easy. I tell people all the time, joking, that it's organized chaos. Dealing mainly with 18 to 22-year-olds for the most part. But my job really is, for all 30,000 students here, is to be their mouthpiece, to be their advocate, not just to each other, but listen to what they have to say, make sure that Sanford Hall and the president, the provost, the board of trustees, local community members such as the mayor, and everyone knows what the students are wanting and how the students are feeling on campus. So my job really is to be the mouthpiece for all the students here on campus and to make sure that I'm the chief advocate for what our students want and need here on our campus.
And to speak for SGA side of things, when we need to talk to administration about something, Dr. Woodard is usually one of the first points of contact we have to make sure we can go on the right path.
So I know recently the Campus Recreation Center just received a big upgrade with the addition of the new Sportsplex that finished building in the past few months. Can you tell us a little bit about that? What went into planning that? What all does this new Sportsplex entail?
Oh, without a doubt, and if you haven't been out there, I would highly suggest anyone to go, but SGA knows this as well as anyone. SGA and I meet a lot. Rhett and I meet at least once a month, and we talk about this. A couple years ago, our SGA students, along with a couple of other students, requested an upgrade to our facilities. And we had the new Campus Recreation and Wellness Center, but it really was our outdoor facilities. So if you really think about it, a third of our student population, our student body, participates in intramurals or club sports. So that's a lot of people that are taking and voicing their opinion about we need an upgrade. So we went into that, we started looking into our finances and how we can plan this. And so in addition to our current 11 acres of our intramural fields, we added a Sportsplex. In the Sportsplex, we have 11 fields out there total that you can do things. It's only 5 total fields, but you can do rugby, lacrosse, ultimate frisbee, but also there's 3 dedicated fields for baseball, softball, wow, and kickball. At the same time at the Sportsplex, there's 2 sand volleyball courts, there's a place to take a shower, and so forth out there, and there's a walking track. And the track actually connects the Sportsplex to the intramural fields back to Jordan-Hare Stadium as you go through and walk. And the last piece that we added in there was that we moved the tennis courts, because the tennis courts were over where the new football performance facility was, or is going to be, and we moved those over by the village, and that is 11 courts where we have tennis and pickleball out there. And so we really upgraded what we're going to do in the recreation area, because we know if you're physically fit or you participate in physical activity, it makes it better in the academic classroom, but also hopefully you'll have better healthy habits for our lifetime. So that's why we really put in the effort, listened to our students, and made the Sportsplex.
now, Rhett, as the voice of these students, what have you heard? What has the general reception been to these new additions?
Well, I've a lot of my friends. I see them going to play pickleball late at night. I see them go play tennis late at night. The lights stay on seemingly pretty late, so
Yeah.
people are out there all hours of the day playing pickleball. And I haven't really gotten into pickleball yet, but apparently it's the new trend, the new craze of students. So
That's
maybe
right.
I'll go take you on a pickleball.
That's right. Rhett and I are going to start a pickleball team next week.
So I know something else that Student Affairs has started doing this semester is the vaccine incentive program. Trying to giving rewards for people who are vaccinated. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? How did that idea come to be?
Yeah, so the vaccine incentive program that you saw this fall, it was talking with our students, and I keep looking towards Rhett and SGA because they are a big voice for the student body. But we listened to other student groups also and stated, look, we want a normal semester, or as close to the normal semester as we can get. And that's not just being in the classroom in person, being in Jordan-Hare Stadium, but also programs and services that we provide, concerts, the homecoming parade this past weekend and so forth. And so to do that, we talked to the medical experts and they say, look, we need to increase vaccines on campus. We had a lot of students that had no problem. As soon as the vaccine was available, they went out and got it. There were other students that were a little hesitant about it. And we said, how can we incentivize them to get a vaccine? So we worked with central administration, came up with a budgetary number where we can provide services and prizes for students. And in there it is, Yeti cooler, lunch with Dr. Googe. I think we have parking pass, upgrade meal plans. We also have priority registration for classes. And so right now, as of yesterday, the number was around 7,109 students have registered for that. Wow. And what happens is once your name is pulled, we do weekly drawings. You have to verify that you've had both shots, or if you did the Johnson & Johnson one shot. And when you do that, at the same time, you enter into that drawing and you can win those prizes. Now, what's so good about that is our students has really jumped on board with, like I said, over 7,000 already registered for it. And they have done that to protect themselves, but also the community. And number one, they really want to have our services and our programs back in person. And our students have done a really good job with that. And so our student body should be commended for that, but also the incentive program was a big push to help our students get vaccinated.
So as we're seeing these vaccine rates, especially amongst students, continue to rise as more as our population is getting vaccinated, is there the possibility that Auburn University lifts the mask mandate for inside buildings?
AJ, that is a loaded question this morning. No, I would say that we're always studying that. We do it about 2-week intervals to see where we are. And Retton has been in these meetings a couple of times also. So we had to see that the trend was going down in a number of positivity rates. As was reported yesterday in the President's Cabinet, and Rhett's part of that, our positivity rate is around 5%, which is really good because it has come down dramatically here on campus and in Lee County. And so we are discussing how we're going to look towards the mask mandate as we go further into the semester. There's no news as of this morning, but I do know we're having discussions next week to talk about how we're going to do probably for the next 2 to 3 weeks in the mask mandate.
And the more students are able to follow these policies we have in place now, wearing masks in class and inside, the further we're going to get towards that goal. So
that is correct.
So I know we've talked about the Sportsplex, we've talked about the vaccine program, incentive program. What other stuff has Student Affairs been working on that students might not be aware of?
Well, I think everybody should be aware of this. I know Red is, but we have opened the new Edge, our central dining facility, which was open this fall for the first time, and it's the first time we really had a central dining location. The location cannot be better, I think, on campus. I actually went and had breakfast there this morning and saw a good 20, 30 students participating. And I was there at 7 a.m. when it opened, of course, and most of our students are still sleeping, but it was busy. And if you go at lunchtime, you could barely find a seat. There's 800 seats in this facility. So we really worked on that, and it's building a community. And I know Rhett and his team have been there. I know we've had athletes come through there. We've had staff visit there. So it's good to have the staff and the faculty and the students eating in one place to build that community. So the Edge was one big one. Also, we're working on a new housing complex. We're going to get out of the Hill, all the residence halls on the Hill. We're going to build a new housing complex here on the Quad. That's going to be a really nice one that starts construction next year. And then the latest thing I would say is that we've been working on was the line or the wait at the medical clinic. We do know that that's been a little heavy this past fall, and so we're really working with our partners at EAMC and with the AU Medical Clinic here. Dr. Cam is on the same page as we are. We want to provide services to our students and our staff and faculty in a timely manner. So that's a couple of things that we've been working on in the last 3 to 6 weeks.
Now, Rhett, what have you heard so far this semester from the students of what they would like to see from Student Affairs?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think he hit on some of the bigger things we've been working on lately. I think the Edge, of course, you saw our last monthly SGA show highlighting the Edge, but it continues to grow in popularity. It continues to grow in being efficient with people coming there for meals, and so I'm very proud of that, and I hope you all continue to use the Edge. And I know last week I mentioned the omelet station. Still love the omelet station, so feel free to head back there. But again, second, all those other things that are being worked on right now, I think those are all important things for students.
Now, as we switch to a more serious topic, as I'm sure you were both well aware of, recently there were 3 cases of sexual misconduct that were reported to the Auburn community within a few days of one another. Since then, there have been multiple protests at Toomer's Corner, as well as a town hall that Student Affairs conducted in joining with campus safety. Can you tell us a little bit about what the role and responsibility of Student Affairs is when these cases are reported, but also what are some things that your office just simply can't do?
Yeah, for us, really when it gets reported, so our first thing is to make sure that the survivor or the victim is protected and has all that he or she needs. So for Student Affairs, there's a couple things. We work mainly on prevention to make sure that we talk about preventative measures, about the sexual misconduct on campus, how not to get there, how to proactively talk to the men and women here on campus about how to protect themselves and be good citizens. But at the same time, when something unfortunately does happen, we jump up there and make sure that our students are given all the resources they need. So a couple of things could be when they call Safe Harbor, which is in Student Affairs, and it's reported on to the police or to campus safety. They then contact us. We'll go to the hospital with them. If they need a SANE exam, if they need a place to stay for a couple of days, we provide a place to stay for a couple of days. If they need counseling, we make sure they get into counseling. That's what we do. We do the services for the victims or the survivor at that point. Now, on the things that we can't do, we do not get involved in the investigation process. That is strictly through Title IX or the Auburn Police Department. We also know that campus safety gets involved in that. So we do not get involved in the investigation. Our main purpose is to make sure that our students and the survivors are taken care of and given what they need to so they can move on and also get to a place to where if they want to file charges, they can file charges. If they don't want to file charges, we just want to make sure that they're still comfortable on our campus, they're comfortable with themselves, they're comfortable coming back to school and getting an education here.
And as for what SGA can do in kind of conjunction with that, a big part of where we are at now is making sure that we work on redeveloping or revamping or reevaluating how we use some of these preventative measures, some of these trainings, some of these educational things. And we've been in contact with different offices on campus as well as Student Affairs just to kind of see, what can we tweak a little bit to make the process more smooth? What could we be able to do? How can we increase the coverage of some of these programs to make sure more students are hearing it? That's kind of where we're at now as a student government organization, and where we will continue to be in the next few weeks.
So as I said, on September 22nd, there was a town hall that Campus Safety and Student Affairs held to discuss preventing and reporting future cases. Can I just get a general feedback from both of y'all on how you felt that went?
Yeah, I can go. I mean, anytime we can directly hear from our students and hear how passionate they are about making our campus safe and what we can do to make our campus safe and do a better job, we live for that because that's how we know that our students want to feel comfortable on campus is doing that. So for us, how we partner with the city, with the Auburn Police Division coming there, but also Title IX, Safe Harbor we had there. We had, I said Title IX, but campus safety was also there. SGA was there. It was really so everybody can see what resources are available here. So in short, what the town hall did for us is it provided the students the opportunity to voice their opinion to us so we know how we need to do better in areas that we do need to do better. And we had one student in particular that really gave us a charge at the end of the town hall that we're still working on some of the things that she mentioned and getting taken care of. But at the same time, so the students in our campus community can see what services really are available to them. So for us, it was great. It was really great. It helped kickstart something that we can do for preventative education here on our campus.
Yeah, and I'll second all of that. As an elected representative at SGA, my job is to be an advocate for the student voice. And I think that town hall was a perfect example of what it looks like when students are able to share that voice and put words to their opinions. I think it was also impactful for me to see 8 professionals sitting on the stage who do care about making Auburn a safer place, and they care about that student voice just as much as Dr. Woodard and I do. So I think it was a valuable opportunity. I think there's plenty of work to be done, and that was evident through the statements made by students, and now comes the part where we actually work on that.
So I know in the last email that was sent out to the Auburn community, it said that an unnamed fraternity was involved in one of these cases. Many of our viewers have sent comments to Eagle Eye expressing their concern that it has been Greek life involved. Can you tell us a little bit, Dr. Woodard, about what the Office of Student Affairs, as well as specifically Greek life, is doing in terms of being a proactive organization rather than a reactive?
Well, and you said it best, AJ, when you said proactive. So we've got to make sure that our Greek organizations and our campus community as a whole, because there's people outside the Greek organization that visit some of our fraternities when they have extracurricular activities such as parties or get-togethers that are outside of Greek life, but also inside of Greek life. So we're doing more direct programming with our Greek communities, but also more direct programming with our student body in general. But let's work on the fraternities right now, since it was named in that last email. So for our fraternities, we are talking to IFC, which is the council that oversees all of our fraternities, the council of presidents, which is the president from all the organizations, and talking about how can we better program, and not only better program, but more direct programming that we know will yield a result. So we've been told, hey, if you do a module, we just turn it down and watch it. Many people that came to the town hall told us that, so we're going to do more in-person programming. How to do this follow-up, not just once at the beginning of the year, but how do we do that maybe monthly? How do we do that bi-weekly? How do we do that 3 times a semester? We've got to find that sweet spot there, and what can we mandate? And so that's kind of what we're working on with our programming for our Greek organizations, but also outside the Greek organizations. It's more direct programming and being proactive versus reactive. There's always going to be a reactive portion here, because when something happens, there is a reaction that has to happen. But we want to be more proactive and direct about our programming.
Yeah, I think the word direct too is really valuable. And speaking of fraternities especially, is when members of a fraternity are able to hold each other accountable and make sure that everyone on the front end is doing the right thing. I think that's something that could probably yield good results.
Agreed.
Well, is there anything else that either one of you would like to add?
Well, on that one, I would say, how do we better protect our community? And I'm talking about our campus community and outside, is if you see something, say something. If you don't feel comfortable saying something, call campus safety or call Auburn PD at the same time. But it could be just coming up and having a conversation with someone, and you distract someone, and that way the person can get to safety. So we got to look out for each other. That's the bottom line. If we're the Auburn family, we talk about the creed, we talk about being an Auburn family, we talk about our brothers and sisters here, we've got to protect each other. And so the biggest thing I would like to say, AJ, is that if you see something, say something, and care about your fellow community member, and if you can step in and say something safely or get to somebody that can help, that's what we've got to do. It's got to be a family effort, it's got to be a campus effort, it's got to be an Auburn family effort. So if we could do that, I think it could yield real good results as we go forward.
Yeah, I'll second all of that too. I think a big thing is, if we're going to fight this problem as a university, it's going to take all aspects of the university to do so, whether that's administration or faculty or students or Greek life, whatever area you want to look at. So as we move forward, I would encourage every group of this campus, every individual on this campus, to be thinking of how they can make a change and how they can impact the healing from this process.
Well, Dr. Woodard, I couldn't have said it better myself, but I want to thank you for sitting down with us. You've answered a lot of questions that I'm sure the Auburn community is going to find really helpful, but unfortunately, that is all the time that we have for this segment of Monthly Review. Now for everybody watching at home, make sure to follow both Eagle Eye TV's and SGA's websites and social media pages. For SGA, that's going to be at Auburn SGA, and their website is sga.auburn.edu. For Eagle Eye TV, that's going to be at Eagle Eye TV, and our website is eagleeyeauburn.com. Our next episode of Monthly Review of SGA is currently scheduled for November 5th. Hopefully we'll see you then. As for now, I'm AJ Rivera and War Eagle.